An increase in growth rate of potential GDP in developed is most likely driven by technological progress. This is the newest theory and the last one. So the willing and potential go through both capital deepening and technological progress. Which of the following is least likely affect rate of appreciation of aggregate stock market? Which of them is not going to affect growth rate in GDP, growth rate in multiple, reinvestment dividend? So reinvestment dividend, appreciation of aggregate growth rate in GDP in the long run stock will depend on GDP, as the other factors cannot increase in perpetuity. 1 year rate is given to us, uncovered interest rate parity, simpler question. Given the quotes DC by EF, 1 plus RTC is 1 plus RTC forward rate upon spot rate. Well, so the equation is interest rate parity rearranged. If the term on the left is 1 plus RTC is less than the term on the right, which means domestic rate is low relative to hedged foreign rate. Therefore, there is a profit arbitrage by borrowing domestic country and lending the foreign interest rate. Because we lend in the foreign, we say that funds flow out of the economy. Now, West Lundia and Kyrgyzstan, neighboring emerging market nation, these countries share a border and frequently trade Kyrgyzstan abundant oil is a precious metal, of which China lacks. So, Kyrgyzstan is developed market nation. The border with Kyrgyzstan, the largest trading partner, both of two countries, the major buyer of Kyrgyzstan petroleum and West. All these three countries are politically stable from a monetary unit known as VICA. Their currency is VICA Rand, or WCK is a free floating currency. And then we have the economic statistic with us. We have the population, labor force, GDP, share, average hours per worker, sovereign credit rating, import rate, export rate for all of the actual GDP. The forecast growth rate for Kyrgyzstan and Kyrgyzstan is 4.4 and 3.0. The growth rate of GDP is lower than the estimated GDP rate. Monetary policy, all three countries have relative interest and all three countries primary goal. Fiscal policy has slightly surplus, actively affect aggregate demand, has moderate surplus, manufacturing demand, not actively affect aggregate demand. It's a net exporter, net importer, net importer. So well established high liquid market, have moderate liquid market, more volatile and small credit spread than. Based on the Cobb-Douglas growth accounting nation forecast in long-term rate is. So this is the most important formula that we are going to see there, the Cobb-Douglas function. It says that the growth rate in GDP is long-term growth of technology plus alpha into long-term growth rate of 1 minus long-term growth of labor. A long-term growth rate of technology is given, long-term growth of it is given, alpha 40% is given, 1 alpha 60%. Long-term growth rate of is given. We'll multiply them and calculate the numbers. This is total labor hours. Total labor hours. We can still find out the growth in labor hours. So this is how you will put Cobb-Douglas function into use. West longer higher growth because is most likely caused by difference in the two countries, the labor force parity, immigration policy. So West Longer has slightly lower fertility rate and less friendly immigration policy, both leading to a lower expected population growth, while Kyrgyzstan population expected to grow at 1.7. West India's growth rate is caused by higher labor force participation rate and increase in number of rate of hours. So long-term growth is most likely caused by difference in the two countries. So the right answer is labor participation rate. The third one says that which of the country would restrictive monetary policy most likely to implement. So all of the three banks' target inflation appears to have higher actual GDP rate than potential GDP rate. To calculate the GDP rate, we have PV, FV and SOLVI. The actual GDP, the potential GDP is 4.4. Inflation is potentially a problem when the actual GDP is higher than the potential GDP, whereas Kyrgyzstan West do not lead. So restrictive monetary policy is curbing inflation, and that will be taken by the country which has got the actual GDP higher than the potential GDP. Part 4, Kyrgyzstan potential GDP rate existence is higher. What difference help to justify higher sustainable growth rate? So one precondition for growth is adequate saving and investment. A country with higher saving rate is likely to have higher potential growth, since a country with higher savings is less likely to need foreign investment for growth. Both Kyrgyzstan and Kyrgyzstan are part of monetary union, floating currency. There is no difference in free trade restriction on capital. Kyrgyzstan has less accessible finance, but difference itself may not be a potential benefit or a potential issue. So the reason for that would be the different growth rates. The evidence support that club converges hypothesis conclude Kyrgyzstan has. So under club converges, countries can join the club by making appropriate institutions, both West and adhere to regional monetary units, show their willingness to join developed nation clubs. Emerging nations long-term growth converging toward a developed country long-term growth is a part of absolute convergence hypothesis. The conditional convergence has stated that the living standard will only occur with the same rate, population growth rate and production of function. The next one says, if in Kyrgyzstan the growth rate in earning related to GDP is 0.5, the growth rate of price to earning is 0.13, then what is the long-term equity growth rate? So over the long-term growth in equity relating to GDP is 0, the labor will accept an ever-increasing share of GDP and P by E will be 0. At some time, long P by E cannot grow indefinitely. Over a time horizon, the potential GDP growth rate equals the growth rate of aggregate equity valuation. Okay. Moldova is a rapidly growing emerging economy. To boost level of capital per hour, the government allows higher than previous allowed level of depreciation expense tax person equipment. This is an example of price mechanism as a regulatory tool. Tax breaks on new equipment purchase are effectively government subsidies. Tax and subsidies are example of price mechanism as a regulatory tool. Review on existing regulation with sunset clause has revealed that net regulatory burden is less than estimated. A possible reason for that is, so the net regulatory burden is difference between regulatory burden and private benefits prior to implementation of regulation. Potential net is estimated. The sunset clause requires regulators to actually outcome if C regulation should be renewed. This is a comparison between actual and estimated value. If only private benefits are estimated, would be estimated through net regulatory burden will be less than the actual. Government incentives that encourage private investment in technology and knowledge are most strongly supported by endogenous growth model. Endogenous models where the expenditure R&D generate benefits to companies as a whole beyond the private benefit to investing. Under endogenous, the resulting is growth is likely to be enduring. Which of the following concept is uniquely associated with neoclassical growth? So neoclassical growth is opportunity cost of having children. Neoclassics argue that the most important economic for population growth is opportunity cost to enter class. As real wage rise and the job opportunity expand, the expansion of cost saving of raising a children. As having children increase, birth rates decline and population growth slows. So this is the neoclassical. The return of distribution of FX carry trade is characterized by negative skewness and positive axis. And FX trade return positive axis, negative skewness and positive axis good. So the purchasing power parity states that exchange rate will change to reflect difference in inflation. Countries interest rate parity exchange rate must be risk and return on investment required. Which of the following would least likely occur to increase in growth rate of a potential GDP? So which of the following least likely occur due to increase? So if there is a growth rate increase, monetary policy will be expensive, fiscal policy will extend, the credit spread of things to come wider. So credit spread decrease if there is a great rate. So an increase in GDP keep actual rate would most likely allow government to pursue expansion for an increase in growth rate, reduce credit risk for all fixed income, hence then narrows the credit side. So that's how things would behave. We'll move to economics. Which of the following concept is usually associated with neoclassical theory? So neoclassical argues that most important economic influence on population with opportunity cost movement entering workplace as wage for rise and the job expand, the opportunity saving and the research increase as the birth rate declines and property slows down. Return distribution FX carry trade is characterized by negative skewness and positive axis kurtosis. Question 23. The forward rate on a 10-day contract is FCUSD5. The spot rate is the USD is trading at a forward of. So forward rate minus the spot rate, that is 1. Which of the following statement regarding relative purchasing power parity is more accurate? Relating purchase power parity states that exchange rate will change difference between inflation. So that is the main idea between purchasing power parity state that the exchange rate will change to reflect differential inflation between countries Uh, Interest rate parity shows that exchange rate must change so that the risk adjusted return after be equal. Which of the following least likely occur due to an increase in growth of potential GDP? So credit spread on fixed income widens. So this will never happen. Fiscal policy will be actioned. So these two things will happen. Increase in growth rate in a particular actually will most likely allow government to pursue expansion of fiscal policies. Increase in growth rate potential expected credit risk. The question did not provide information about the actual growth rate, hence we have to assume it to be constant. So Professor Emasa make the following same economic class. If you earn 8% on a rated bond but only 6% on a current investment, want to buy those bonds just for acquisition. However, after collecting acid on investor would lose the profit if they converted gains into home currency. So uncovered interest rate parity concept that exchange rate must be so that the return must be same. Second statement reflects uncovered interest rate parity. Covered interest rate would be applicable if in a hedge current result, because if you don't hedge, you don't know about the currency. It might depreciate, might not depreciate. Now there is some in reality it will not depreciate, so that would have. Terence Brewer, junior analyst at the WWINC, was discussing concept of purchasing for parity and uncovered interest rate parity with his colleague. During the conversation, Brewer made the following statement. Statement 1. Absolute PPT is based on number of unrealistic assumptions that limits its real world usage. These assumptions are all goods and services can be transported among countries at no cost. All countries use same basket of goods and services to measure their price level. All countries measure their risk the same way. Statement 2. UIRP rests on the idea of equal interest rate across international borders. Real interest rate differential would result in capital inflows to higher rate, equalizing the overtime. Another way to set difference in the interest rate are equal to differences expected change in inflation rate. Respect to these statements, which of them is correct? So the idea here is that both of them are correct. Let's look at them again. So absolute PPP is based on number of unrealistic assumptions that limits real. These assumptions are that all goods transported in equal countries. UAP rests ideas that real interest rate differential would result in capital inflow to high interest, equalizing the interest rate over time. Another certain difference in interest rate is equal to differences exchanges rate. So both of them is right. The investor has entered a 90-day forward contract to purchase 10 million GDP, and this 30 days are given. Spot rate 30 days, 60 days, 90 days. Interest rate information when contract was initiated. USD GBP, USD GDP at T equal to 30. Mark to market value is closest to. So 90-day forward in 30 days the following quotes are available, and you have to find out the mark to market of the contract value. So we will calculate the contract value that exists today. We have 60 days remaining. And in 60 days remaining, we have to bring the price that we actually went in minus the difference, and we have to bring that today. So if you look at it, as entered into all at 1.4612, so 1.4612 is what we entered. Today the relevant exchange rate is 1.4621 for the remaining 60 days. The contract size, and we bring it down to the relevant interest rate. So the interest rate for 60 days, when we bring it down, we get 1799. So to unwind the forward, investor should go enter into 60 forward contract to sell GBP. The exchange rate, the value obtained in the price currency would be this one. So the mark to order forward contract is then calculated using this way, which is the difference between the prices and 1799. So this is the difference that has actually happened in the pricing with time. Which of the following is least likely the objective of central bank intervention? So prevent appreciation of currency. So this is not an objective. Central bank objective is to include prevention of excessive appreciation of domestic, reduction of foreign influence, pursuit independent monetary policy. So they won't actually take things into either direction. If they think depreciation is bound to happen, they'll slow it down. If they think appreciation is bound to, they'll slow it down. They'll not manipulate the equilibrium, and they don't have the power to manipulate equilibrium. They can just make sure that the change happens slowly so that everybody can adapt to that, and that comes with a cost they pay. Classic is developed market nation with large natural resources, oil prices, and growing financial market. Stable monarchy, elected representative legislature appointed by. This Castro is a member of CAP alliance with three body. Castro person the form legal party. The COP currency known as COPA, simple GBP. As part of CO joining COP, standardized the regulatory institute regulators among three countries. The standardized covers most important government agency but does not cover all business. Callisto anticipates having to bear additional cost and loss of productivity in some of the business sector, oil and precious metal. Calesco adopts COPA financial standard and covers all financial institute, commercial bank. COPA is rewritten by Legislative Council intermediate. So restructure financial restructuring into three different organizations: Commercial Banking Standard Board, Exchange Trading Commission, Insurance. An example of it is that all companies state owned are required to furnish auditor financial on quarterly basis prepared by accounting firm. Accounting are a combination of years that are used in CPA. Before ETC rules and characteristic equity market were less liquid, the volumes of trade have increased significantly. ETC becomes self-regulation. More Callisto citizen buying both Callisto and foreign stocks over the last 2 years. Callisto has three-tier progressive income tax, the sales tax, and so on. The tobacco consumption has been rising with over the same time. And fine and inside rating are high. Individuals who are fiduciary represent financial accountants are face more share than for themselves and their firms. What type of regulation of Intermediate Act of 2003 FISA? So the question is about a regulation, whether it's statute, judicial, and administrative regulation. So it is a statute. So written and passed by legislative body. So it's a statute. Possible economic rationale for increase in demand for equity regulation is that information friction. So economic rationale for regulation need for information friction. Externally, equities are not a public good, so not external investees. The saving did not increase, but economic rational regulation, it is a result of demand of equity. They are required for disclose less information asymmetry, so people might get confident and invest. The difference in consumption of tobacco is a result of regulatory arbitrage. Tobacco companies on the difference in regulated tobacco companies have found that for less productive, less tax, no labor, lower regulation. Tobacco companies target regulation in form of regulation. Regulators capture trade does not apply when no mention of tobacco companies interest. Which industry could possibly benefit for a regulatory change? So accountancy, oil industry negative, tobacco will be negatively invested. Account benefit because people want to get the stock listed and create accounting job. With the most likely reason for increase in demand for equity streaming regulation, disclose lead to higher investor confidence. So disclosure is always good if they are asking for disclosure. The least likely tool of regulatory intervention of anti-smoking is warning labels as restricted activities. Although higher taxes and warning labels anti-smoking are all part of anti-smoking campaign, warning labels is not restricting on smoking. You're not restricting them, you are just asking them to have that label and you are taxing them a little higher. Under Mundell-Fleming law, an asset market approach to accelerate the country forward seeds currency appreciate in short term declination. So Mundell-Fleming got country running expansionary running fiscal deficit would attract foreign capital due to high interest rate and seeds currency appreciate in short run. Under asset management in long term, the increased risk and that lead to currency's depreciation. Modi is an emerging market country in Latin America joined free trade to comply with the trade. Modi companies reducing subsidies in tax, due to which of the following should shrink. So reduction in subsidy would shrink food processor at the cost of increase. Mining would shrink due to additional tax. The airline would relatively affected by election. Nothing questions is the impact of airline industry. Then you have following bit codes, and it's a question of cross currency arbitrage. A Swiss company is looking to acquire the main competitor based on Singapore. The acquisition could create represent 50% organ must be. So both Singapore is regulated. Both can potentially both the analyst be aware of the antitrust regulation. Again a long one, so we'll take that later. The primary difference between venture capital method using the IR and the NPV is that the IR approach starts by calculating the investor's expected future wealth. So the IR approach in a venture capitalist firm can be thought as a reverse of NPV. We'll move to the bigger question that we are doing regarding the currency trading. Now, Jennifer Nance has recently been hired as analyst at the Central City Bank in the currency trading department. Nancy, who recently graduated with a degree in economics, will be working with other analysts to define if there are profit opportunities in the foreign exchange market. Nancy has the following data available: expected inflation rate, 1 year nominal interest rate, market spot rates, US dollar, US pound, euro. These are the spot rates and 1 year forward rates. Assuming that borrowing, lending, equivalent bearer spread is 0 in the forward outcome, using data instead has to work with the profit and uncovered interest rate arbitrage. So it's like taking money from somewhere and depositing it at higher interest rate, and while converting it again using forward rate, will you be at profit or not? That's a question that I'm asking. So we will be borrowing at 6%. So this is the pound that we have to pay. We'll convert it into dollar. So this is the dollar. But if we invest in US 10,000, the end of the return is 8,000. This means that initial forward contract, and then at the end you convert it into this one. So we pay 5 lengths and the balance is 6835. So it's same as if you have a future forward contract of a conversion rate, then you can convert that very easily before getting into trouble. Nancy is asked to calculate 1 year forward rate that would preclude from covered interest rate between US dollar. Interest rate parity implies that prevention of a 1 year forward rate should be equal to. So you have to use both of the rate of deposit or the interest rate and then use them to find out the forward rate. Patrick Schillen is the head of the foreign currency desk at GPN, a large US bank holding. Patrick is concerned about the recent spike in volatility of euro. He obtains current spot and forward currency terminal, collect the foreign current spot and forward rate. A 30 or 60 forward. This. Shall review bank current open and forward contracts. None of the contracts call for purchase of pound 200 million at all-in rate of USD 1.3 and mature in 30 days. During the market turmoil of late 2008, GPN has lost a lot of money in FX carry trade. Sheehan realizes that GPN has not established any new FX carry trade positions since then, and is anxious to establish new position. One trade that he finds promising is a carry trade in Indian rupee. Notes that the spot rate is 53.88. Economics that the rate will be this in 90 days. During the conversation, Sina asks about the driving factors behind depreciation of rupee. There are several theories to explain the extension of personal issue because there's for long-term implication of currency. She discusses the real interest rate. She feels that the real interest rate is expected to be higher in US. And this premium will be similar to that of USD. She states that India is following a more expansion as compared to US. That policy expected country. She observed that such division resulted in large external debt relative to GDP. She observed that over the past decade, capital controls in India have been loosened, resulting in free flow of capital. Additionally, due to relatively more restrictive policy in India relative to US, nominal interest rate have been substantially higher in the US. So monetary policy have been restrictive. They are trying to increase the interest rate. So the most likely candidate for funding currency in the carry trade contemplated, and the potential in the carry trade is. So if you believe that the currency is going to depreciate like 0.44%, then potential return on FX trade is interest earned minus funding cost minus depreciation in the investment currency. You will find out what would happen in the interest rate on in the 90-day holding period, and you will do the same trade and offsetting trade using that. So we will first find out how much the currency would depreciate, which is being done at 0.44%. Potential return is interest earned minus funding cost minus depreciation of currency. So 1.25. So we have taken everything in terms of the interest rate. The current mark-to-market value of EUR forward contract is closest to. So if you have taken a position already and some time has passed and you are searching for the time that it should move ahead, uh, then you should do that using the formula where you will find out the change in the forward price into contract size, and you will bring that price today. So just remember that you have to find out the future pricing of all those forward, multiply them with the value and bring it today. So all in bid price for a 30-day contract is the future price. So the new future and the old future price, but the timing should be the same, and you should bring it down by the interest rate. So the contract selling 230 days to compute mark to market, we should use 30-day forward contract rate in the quoted structure. So all in bid 30 days of forward is 0.98 minus 7.6 upon 10.8. So that's FP is equal to 1.312 plus 300 upon 1000. This FP is given. So we should first find out all in price for 30 days USD CHF. So this is the USD CHF is not given, so we have to convert that, and then after converting that rate, we will find out what to do, and then we'll find out the price of this, or the mark to market value, because at the initiation, if we assume that we have decided that we are going to exchange things in future at a particular date, and today's value is different, then we need to find that out. Regarding the valuation of INR, Andrew is most likely used. So portfolio balance approach focuses on long-term implication of fiscal policy and exchange rate. Monetary approach focuses on implication of monetary, while Mundelfin focuses on short-term implication of monetary policy. So all of these three will have different things. Based on Andrew's projection, under the capital account, influences of balance of payment here would not likely be decrease. So under capital account influence, INR USD would increase when real rate is greater than real USD rate. The next one, based on Mundell-Fleming model relative to USD, INR would most likely appreciate. So under Mundell-Fleming model, given that high capacity and expansionary fiscal policy combined with restrictive monetary policy lead to appreciation of INR in the future term, because an expansionary will combine restrictive monetary policy, you are causing the prices to go up, and this is the Mundell-Fleming model. But this would go down in the later term, so that things would be as it should be in the long term. Now, under the asset market approach to exchange determination relative to USD, INR would most likely be depreciated in long term. So, under the asset market portfolio, a large level of depth would lead to currency depreciation in the long term.